I don't know what to say about this whole Puffy P Diddy stuff that's going on. Man, listen, Tupac Shakur's murder is still up in the air, right? And they got somebody and then they don't got somebody. But P Diddy's name, Puffy's name, Puff Daddy's name is starting to become more prominent in this. Now I'm starting to wonder why the hell Keffe D over the years was like, come on, Puffy, come on, Diddy, throw a dog a bone. What was he saying? Read between the lines, right? So, the man that was charged with Tupac's murder was a confidential police informant. This is what new paperwork says, right? I'm going to give you the whole article and then we're going to give my summation of this whole thing. So, Keffe D actually worked as a confidential police informant. A lot of these gangsters you see out here in the streets, you wonder how they traffic a lot of drugs undetected. You wonder how they get arrested and get back out on the streets so quickly. You wonder how they commit certain acts of violence and they're still allowed to be out amongst us civilians, law-abiding, tax-paying citizens. And that's because that whole world belongs to the police, okay? And if you dabbling in that world, and if you playing at a high level, there's no way you're not playing with the police. I don't know who needs to understand that, but that's how it goes. Anyways, accused murderer Keffe D. He worked undercover for LAPD detectives from a task force initially set up to investigate the murder of Biggie Smalls after volunteering information about his role in Tupac's fatal shooting. This is according to a bombshell 179-page court documents that was filed in Los Angeles, California by prosecutors. Goddamn. Keffe D. He all over the place. Now, according to the court papers that was obtained by quite a few different news media houses, Keffe D became an informant after he was caught trafficking a large amount of drugs by the task force, which this is not new information. We kind of knew this one already, right? But this gets deeper. Hold on. Keffe D denied having any involvement in Biggie's murder when they pulled him in. I don't have nothing to do with that Biggie Smalls shit. I don't have nothing to do with that. But while he was saying he didn't have anything to do with it, he gave the police a recorded account. And then he was believing that he was immune from prosecution, and how then he went on to tell the police how he and his fellow gang members killed Tupac Shakur in a drive-by shooting in Las Vegas in 1996. This shit crazy. They actually brought Keffe D in thinking he might have something to do with Biggie Smalls' murder. This ninja went in there and said, I don't have shit to do with no Biggie Smalls murder, man. But y'all give me immunity from prosecution. I'm going to tell you how Tupac Shakur got killed. And then he went in there and gave the police a recorded statement, believing they had given him immunity from prosecution. He also alleged in that same interview that Diddy, Sean P. Diddy Combs, had previously offered him and his Cripset gang $1 million in cash if they could murder Tupac Shakur. This is what he told the feds back in 1996, which Diddy, then known as Puffy, Puff Daddy, later paid to a gangster called Eric Zip Martin the $1 million. And they have an audio recording of that statement given by Keffe D back then, from which they had previously published this information out to the public. Now, in a new twist, prosecutors are claiming that 3 months after the recorded confession, on March 9th of 2009, Keffe D became an active confidential informant to the feds. Started working for their task force. Matter of fact, in a section that's titled Additional Evidence Never Considered Before by the Court, unquote. That's the name of the section. Additional Evidence Never Considered Before by the Courts. They pop that shit opens, and the document goes on to allege that Keffe D was accompanied by officers from the task force, and they flew with him out to New York on June 17th of 2009. in a bid to corroborate the conspiracy to commit Tupac's murder. Those paperwork explained that detectives believed that they had jurisdiction to go all the way to New York and work because this case, the conspiracy, actually was formulated in their turf. They just took it to somewhere else, which gave them jurisdiction. Keffe D at the time was acting in a undercover capacity. And guess who they ran into in the streets of New York? Zip. The same dude, Eric Zip Martin. And it is alleged that Eric Zip Martin and Sean P. Diddy Combs, Sean Puffy Combs, were cooking up this conspiracy back in Nevada before he flew out back to New York. Damn. So the paperwork says they got out to New York with Keffe D. Keffe D was acting in an undercover capacity, and he ran into Zip on the streets as he approached his workplace. This is according to the prosecutors going off the paperwork. Mr. Martin, whose name is Zip on these streets, they said he greeted Keffe D excitedly. Like, that's the homie. That's the big homie. That's the ace. And they had a social conversation, the court papers said. Shortly after that, Zip, aka Mr. Martin, his nephew, and Keffe D got into the nephew's blue Cadillac DTS and drove over to see Mr. Martin, or Zip's sister. After returning, Keffe D tried to enlist Zip, or Mr. Martin, in an effort. He said, I got a lot of dope that we need traffic, between these coasts. So he was trying to get him to move some dope for him, traffic some narcotics for him. Mr. Martin indicated that he was out of the business, but he directed him to conduct his drug activities with his nephew. He said, my nephew will handle that. I don't do that type of shit no more, right? He just got $1 million to knock off Tupac Shakur. Why would he still be dabbling in the dope game, right? Pass it on to a younger homie. Thereafter, defendant, which is Keffe D, and Mr. Martin, which is Zip, they socialized in Mr. Martin's restaurant for several hours. So apparently Mr. Martin had a restaurant in New York. Diddy, who has always denied any involvement in Tupac Shakur's death, appears to be further implicated in these court papers when prosecutors summarized one of Keffe D's other interviews and stated, Sean Puffy Combs reached out to the defendant, Keffe D, wondering if the Southside Crips were responsible for Tupac Shakur's death by asking him, is that us? Is that us? Remember, he offered him $1 million to do it. And then it was done. So he reaching out, trying to speak in codes. He asking, is that us? I don't need to spell that out for you. The defendant, Keffe D, who was beaming with pride in this undercover paperwork, said, yes, that's us. Keffe D's, whose real name Dwayne Davis, he was hoping to be free after a bail hearing that was supposed to happen for him, but that didn't fall through. A judge denied his release in June, even after he was able to secure the $750,000 bond to be freed while he awaits his trial, citing concerns over the source of the funds from music manager Wack 100. Now, the feds, they want to know where you get all this money from to pay for this. So they have to be able to track the money and the source of the money that you're going to use to bond out on. You can't just go to your dope dealer brethren who got 100 keys and be like, yo, let me get some money real quick. I'm good for it. They want to know a legit route where that money came in. And because of that, Keffe D wasn't let out, even though Wack 100 came up with the money. Now, prosecutors are opposing Keffe D's release on bail as they release a new slew of evidence against Keffe D. Let's not forget, Keffe D is a former drug kingpin slash big boss, section leader, whatever you want to call it. He was really in these streets for real and had a lot of clout in these streets for real. Shot caller is what you call it. Can't tell by looking at him now, and that's life. You know what I mean? One day you are that strong alpha lion on the plane and you running shit, and a couple of years go by and you an old man who's looking to the end of his days. You know what I mean? That doesn't take away from what Keffe D did back in the day. Keffe D's lawyer, though, Carl Arnold, has previously claimed that his client was not even in Las Vegas the night Tupac Shakur was shot, which is September 7th of 1996. However, the latest filings contain a number of statements that Keffe D has made both to the police and both in numerous interviews and in his own books, in which he claims that he was right there. Man, listen, if that ain't self-snitching at its finest, I don't know what the hell it is. Tupac fans are still awaiting justice. You know, it's been almost 28 years, you know, and Keffe D is locked up, about to go to trial for it, but nothing says he'll be convicted yet. There are a lot of other names that are coming up, but very interestingly, the $1 million offer to take Tupac Shakur's life from none other than P. Diddy. Man, listen, either P. Diddy violated somebody who was really at the top and they really want to throw his ass away, or this is just his karma coming back to bite him in the ass. Prosecutors have also submitted newly unearthed evidence in the same court filings which places Keffe D in the city on the night of the murder. So his lawyer can stop saying my client wasn't there. Your client done told everybody he was there in every interview. He done told everybody he was there in his book. He done told everybody he was there in recorded statements to the police, thinking he had immunity from prosecution. Investigators said a room at the then Monte Carlo resort, now it's called the Park MGM, that room was booked under Keffe D's wife's name, Paula Clemens, but as she was not a known Southside Crip, the reservation went under the radar. It comes after news media exclusively revealed earlier how prosecutors were scoring through any paperwork, just scouring through the paperworks or surveillance footage from the Monte Carlo hotel back in that time in a bid to secure further evidence against Keffe D. Now, news reporters said that they have reached out to Keffe D's lawyers and to representatives of P. Diddy requesting comments on the latest court filings with Diddy's name all over it. The latest court filings linking Diddy to Tupac Shakur's murder comes after he is accused of sex trafficking former porn star Adria English in a lawsuit that was filed earlier this month. It was the latest in a string of lawsuits accusing P. Diddy, Puff Daddy, Sean P. Diddy Combs, the bad boy mogul, of sex trafficking, sexual assault, abuse, all this other stuff in late 2023 and 2024, among other charges from other people or other accusations from other people, all of which Diddy has denied. But you know, he denied doing anything to Cassie until we saw it on video for ourselves. So you got to ask yourself, is he credible? Now, back in March, Diddy's home was raided by Homeland Security officials as part of a federal sex trafficking investigation. I don't think that's what it was. At the time, Keffe D, through his attorney, shot down any claims that he had cooperated with the federal authorities over the phone, telling the U.S. news media that he has not spoken to any of these officials, and I'm sitting tight and I'm not saying nothing. A source that is close to Keffe D says he wants it out there that he ain't doing no deals or having nothing to do with them feds in this whole Diddy thing. In other words, don't send your hitters after me, Diddy, because I know your money long and your reach is long, and I know what I know. I don't have nothing to do with them running up in your shit. I didn't tell them nothing, so please don't go looking my way. I'm trying to get up out of this jam I'm in right now, and I still haven't called your name. But all this paperwork has Diddy's name all over it. Listen, I'm going to stay close to this story. You leave your comments in the comment section below and tell me if you think that Sean P. Diddy Combs, Diddy Puffy, actually did what he is accused of in these paperworks, which is giving $1 million to have Tupac Shakur killed. We'll see. It'll all come out. My grandmama always said, whatever was done in the dark will come to light, baby. It may not come to light today, tomorrow, or next year, but eventually, whatever is done in the dark will come to light. I think a lot of people do shit thinking that they'll outlive the revelations. I'll live a good life after I do all my dirt. And then by the time all that dirt comes out, my family will be rich and set and moved on. And the truth will come out, but I won't be here to pay the consequences because I'll be dead and gone. And sometimes that ain't how it happens. Sometimes the truth comes out while you're riding high and living your best life. And then you're on top. And that fall from the top is so far down, and you hit that ground hard. That's reality. I'll catch y'all on the next video. It's Hot Topics TV / BrainFLoTv. Y'all already know if the topic is hot, we're on it. I'm out. Peace.